I like saying thank you to the pilot when I walk off the plane. I like doing that. How many people say thank you to the pilot when you get off the plane? All right. It's a decent amount, but it's not everybody. What's wrong with you? Why are you gonna be a jerk? That's all they want. That's all a pilot wants. If you fly, that's the first thing. As soon as they park, the door just flies open at the front. They're just like... Hey, did you notice how we didn't all die? You're welcome. You're welcome for that. I did that for you. And we all just shuffle off in our pajama bottoms and Crocs, like, don't make eye contact with me. So rude. That's all they want is a thank you for that job. They're up there. They're tucked in up there. They are tucked in with dress shoes the whole time. And we're back there with like half a boner and sweatpants. Like, yes, I think that the last 8 years in this country has really ruined the whole "the president's been kidnapped" genre of action movie. I will say that it has deflated my enthusiasm. Man, that was a fun movie 10 years ago. That was fun. Oh, you'd go right to the cinema on Friday. The president's been kidnapped. Oh no, who's gonna save him? Channing Tatum? I hope his shirt doesn't come off. We were excited for those. You can't make that movie now. That movie does not have the steam it once held. The president's been kidnapped. Well, yeah, I mean... It's not good out there. People aren't happy, man. Inflation's out of control. My parents' names are Pat and Deb. That had to have been a line dance at some point. Everybody get on the floor. We're gonna do a little Pat and Deb, all right? Well, Pat and Deb. And Pat, Deb, sidestep Deb. Pat and Deb. My neighbors growing up were named Chuck and Mert. That is obviously a fly fishing technique. Chuck it, Mert it back. Unless you had a situation where it ruptured and inflamed, you have an appendix in your body right now doing nothing except maybe making a doctor $25,000. And they let babies leave the hospital with that. Does this baby have an unlit stick of dynamite in it? You betcha. There's just a bunch of walk-in scratch-off tickets for doctors. Like, all right, my lucky day. New set of golf clubs. How about it? 25 grand. I like action movies because of the escapism. The dumber, the better. That's how it's plot holes, explosions that don't make sense. Give it to me. Why are you in space? Nobody asked. All right, fine. The only thing that can truly take me out of an action movie and really just destroy my suspension of disbelief is when the main action hero, when the star, like main guy, right when he does all the action, right after it's like when his penis, just works. Okay. Like whenever he wants it to, just. The sexual prowess under pressure is the part. Okay. And that's like when somebody's like, I don't drink. Like, you never drank. Like, I'm actually in AA, and that's just like mysterious, right? Like, oh my God, ooh, what's that like? Oh, you can't tell me. Now I want to know even more. Did you kill somebody? Just let me guess. Ooh, oh my God, it's so sexy and mysterious. That's a good backstory because you can't tell anybody your backstory. Or you could just keep partying at the same rate and scare your loved ones. You could be that guy, the guy that just keeps going, thumbs up in the front here. You're the space shuttle, and your social group were the booster rockets that sensibly broke off at an appropriate altitude. I gotta get up for work. I got kids. And you're this space shuttle in the middle going, let's find some Coke! Even before the whole thing, the anti-vaxxers kind of made me laugh. Vaccines cause autism, man. Vaccines are causing autism. Fucking good. We probably need more autistic kids. They're the ones that keep beating robots at chess. And if you don't think that's an incredibly necessary individual in this day and age, all we do is keep getting information over to the algorithm. That's all we do. It's just like, oh, accept cookies, allow tracking. Come on, man, I'm trying to look at tits on this thing. It's only a matter of time before we're like, oh, the machines took over the banks and I can't get my folding money out to pay my bills. What are we gonna do? Well, we could ask Toby if he wants to take a break from building DNA strands out of Legos long enough to save the world again. Do you mind, Toby? We'd love your help. We'll get you the big chocolate milk this time. I'm from a town called Addison, Illinois. That's where I'm from. It's outside of Chicago. Doesn't matter. It's the same suburb. Whatever suburb you're thinking of, that's the one. They're not different. You know, they're not different. Mine has a 31 flavor. Nope. They're all the same one. You know, they're all, it's everywhere. Is it a poorly marked exit across 9 lanes of highway that you gotta just cut off, you know, semi-trucks? Like, God damn it! Get on some cloverleaf that just plops you out right between a TGI Fridays and a Chili's. Yeah, that's the one. There's always a family in the parking lot between those two restaurants confused. Yeah, every time. It's always just the dad. He's always just like... What? Yeah, I know, but which one's got that prolapsed onion thing I like so much? You know, I went camping, I hiked up to a waterfall, I was by myself, I was admiring this waterfall. I'm not even a God-fearing man, but I was looking at that, I'm like, if something made this, maybe, woof, because this is like a purposefully designed tapestry cascading across the creation that has been made here. And then still there's a voice in my head that's like, hey, Kyle, what if waterfalls are just rivers that are trying to kill themselves? Like, oh, God damn! Why can't you just let me have 5 minutes? I was kind of a hypocrite through the whole pandemic. Like, I tell you get vaccine, I tell you trust science. I went on a cruise. During the pandemic. Yeah, all right, here it is. Well, first off, of course the cruise was gonna happen. It was a heavy metal cruise. It was a cruise filled with heavy metal bands. Of course that was gonna set sail. Metalheads are not scared of viruses. Do you know metalheads, like old school, they half of them are walking around with gonorrhea that they got at the original Ozfest. And they're proud of it. They're hanging on to it like it's a sourdough starter. They're like, yeah, man, these warts saw Randy Rhoads live, dude. They had protocols. I forget whichever test is where you do a test in front of your computer and then a doctor's watching you from the doctor. I just gave a stranger access to my webcam. This special might not be the thing you see on the internet of me coming up soon. Yeah, I'm like, why are you just in a bedroom too, man? Like, be in a laboratory. You got the same bad lighting setup as me. What is that, a Mudvayne poster in the back? You just work for the cruise. You work for the cruise. I got this stranger, and I'm just in my room. He's watching me. I'm 4 knuckles deep with a Q-tip into my gray matter. That's the closest I'm ever gonna feel to a cam girl, was that moment. It's a guy just watching me drill my orifice. Oh, deeper, daddy? Okay. What do you want me to do now? Spin it a little? Ooh, you're sick. You're naughty. They say they take protocols. They go, oh, we will do an intensive questionnaire to make sure you're healthy. It's when they give you the questionnaire. You spend all your money to get on the boat, then you spend your money to fly to get to the port city, and then your bags are packed. They take your bags, those are on the boat. All your money, all the shit's on the boat. And there's a little guy in a fun kiosk, if you've never been on a cruise. There's a guy before you get on the boat, and he's just a little party guy. Maybe he's got maracas or something. Right? Like, time to buy your drink package, so you have to gamble on how much booze you think you're gonna drink on the cruise before you get on the cruise. And nobody is tame at that point. You're going on a cruise. Nobody's like, I better go for the bronze tier. I'm probably gonna take it easy on the way to Cozumel. No, everybody's like, fucking diamond package, baby. I will absolutely drink $975 worth of alcohol every day on this cruise. You will not. You absolutely will not. By the next day, you will have one shaky glass of white wine in your hand. Just like, I at least gotta break 150 to feel good about myself. You're gonna poison yourself out of your own frugality. And now you spent more money on that. Now it's time to get on the boat, and here we go. And now you're on the plank, on the way to the boat. There's the boat. Seawater is just underneath you. Fish and dolphins. There's the land. Sayonara, suckers. And that's when they hand you the questionnaire. That's where they expect you to be truthful about your ailments in that moment. And everybody, like nobody's, I got the sniffles, always or never. What do you want me to say? What? My parents are first cousins. You bet your ass they are. Let me on this boat. There's zip lines to be zipped. One of the questions is like, do you have diarrhea? How dare you? Do I have diarrhea? I'm going on a cruise. If I don't have it now, give me 20 minutes. In a half hour, I'll be on my third crab daiquiri of this voyage. It is not a drink that is included in the diamond package. It's one that I'll assemble myself by getting a pitcher of any tropical beverage that I will then take right to the buffet, which I will treat like a death row inmate. Asparagus dipped in hot fudge, why not? We're gonna die. That's where I'll get an armful of crab legs and hang them off the pitcher. What for dipping? In 45 minutes, an employee of this cruise line will come by the hot tub where I've parked myself and tell me to cease my behavior immediately because I will be in that hot tub playing my favorite game of all time called Guess the Catch of the Day. It's not a game, it's really just a sex crime. It's where I, Kyle Kinane, am sitting there swirling one crab leg around whatever warm gin and fruit is left in the pitcher. I'll be wearing men's swim trunks, the old-timey kind where there's an outer shell and an inner panty. Any stranger unfortunate enough to sit in that hot tub with me will now be a contestant of the game. And I'll say, I wonder what the catch of the day is. And they'll go, catch of the day. And that's why I'll just move the outer shell to the side, revealing my netted genitals. And I'll say, well, it looks like a shrimp and 2 scallops today. That's the game. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Do I have diarrhea? I'll shit off the side of this boat if I want to. I'll hang my lily white ass off the mezzanine and I will unload into the life rafts. Women and children first, be my guest. What are you gonna do? Turn it around? We're in international waters, bitch. Don't call yourself Carnival if you're not ready for the implications. I don't go on many cruises. But that's the thing, like, listen, I'm going to go on to vaccine. I'm pro-vaccine, pro-science, but I behave in very anti-vax ways. One of those is I keep eating at Chipotle. I know it's dangerous, and I engage in that behavior freely. I'm like, it's freedom, not fear. I will not live in a prison made up of your paranoia. Now, well, they got that white queso dip back on the menu anyway. Also, Chipotle kills people every year. Every year, Chipotle has to have a press conference where they're like, yeah. I'm surprised we're back here again, too, but somebody pissed in the spinach again or something. Anyway, long story short, we're sorry for your loss, you know. But we're gonna make it up to you. We're gonna offer a BOGO every Tuesday in July for your loss. You get an extra burrito on account of the law of your bereavement burrito. It's bereaved for your bereavement. There's some. It'll tie together later. So I ate that. And like I can self-diagnose food poisoning at this point. I'm pretty familiar. I'm like, here we go again. Dancing with this smelly mistress another evening. Food poisoning moves around your torso in a way that it's just looking for a way out. It's like a bank heist went south and their plan B wasn't really dialed in. You're like, oh, the front doors are blocked off. What do we do, boss? I don't know. We can tunnel out the basement or jump off the roof, but we're getting out of this bitch one way or another. Like, that's food poisoning. This was different. This did not behave like this. This just started making a little nest for itself. The doctor's like, yeah, your appendix is inflamed. It hasn't ruptured yet, but just go to the ER because they're going to have to get it out of there. So I went to the ER. I went to a Suburban hospital. I can tell it's Suburban because the doctor was very just unimpressed with having to do another appendectomy. Just another boring day at the office for this surgeon. You could tell he's out in the suburbs like, can't we get a goddamn knife fight in this town? I went to school for real shit. As he came in the room I was in, he's like, yeah, we're gonna give you a laparoscopic appendectomy. He said that once. He only said that one time, laparoscopic appendectomy. And that was enough, too, because I was like, whoo, uh-oh. Because they charge by the syllable. So you know it's like, laparoscopic appendectomy. Esquire, the third, pump the brakes. After that, he just called it a lappy-appy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of a nonchalant attitude from a surgeon. Say the whole word. Earn your money, say laparoscopic appendectomy. He wasn't even saying it to make me feel comfortable. He was just saying it out of just shortening his job. Because they were saying it out in the hallway, too. They were just like, what's in room 9? It's a lappy-appy. It's nothing exciting. Like, don't do cute nicknames before the procedure. If I live, we could be adorable afterwards. Afterwards, this shit, man, we could put glitter on the scars. I don't give a shit. But beforehand, say the whole term, make me feel safe. I have to go under anesthesia. People don't make it through anesthesia sometimes. I could still die, even if it's routine. What if I die? That's it. I died without any information about what was happening. I just show up in heaven or whatever I qualify for at this point. I don't know. I definitely have some strikes against my license by now. But anywhere you wind up where some ethereal being with a clipboard's like, oh, man, you weren't on the schedule today. And the best I can say is like, I guess my lappy-appy went whoopsie-poopsie. Didn't get much more information than that. But, yeah, well, thank God it went okie-dokie, so we're here today. But so I was thinking, but like, that's... Unless you had a situation where it ruptured and inflamed, you have an appendix in your body right now doing nothing. Except maybe making a doctor $25,000. And they let babies leave the hospital with that. Does this baby have an unlit stick of dynamite in it? You betcha. There's just a bunch of walk-in scratch-off tickets for doctors like... My lucky day, new set of golf clubs. How about it? 25 grand. Meanwhile, I was circumcised like right away. That was the thing. That was the thing. Like, oh, we can't have him have that. Uh-oh, hey, we got another baby born with too much dick. God, man, can't believe you think if it was unnecessary, evolution would take care of it. Now these babies keep doing too much noodle. Oh, should we wait till he's old enough to make up his own mind? Nah, nobody's ever wanted more dick later in life. At least not in the United States. Nope, just an American celebrating his freedom going, I guess this is all right. Look, I would like to have a choice. Why is that the worst thing? Why is that the most horrible part of a new baby boy? The devil's calamari. Get it off of him. Why is that? Why is that? Listen, I may have ruined calamari for some of you, and you know what? Good. I'm glad I did. We gotta stop eating those animals. They're smart animals. We gotta leave them alone. Those are intelligent things. I'm sorry for the next trip you take to the Olive Garden. That you don't get to enjoy your favorite app. No, you getting the calamari? Well, I can't. Maybe I could eat the whole squid, but I can't eat the rings. I can't do the rings. Why not? That's the best part. A guy said a thing. I don't want to ruin your experience. I can't. I just can't. You're going to dip that in marinara. I know we're here, but I do not feel like family right now. Like, man, I bet you bats with big dicks don't get a lot of sleep. And that's... You gotta think of it visually. Okay, if nobody's there, bats sleep upside down. So if you imagine, like a comically large penis, not just like big for it, like too much dick. And it's upside down, just trying to get some sleep after a long night of being a bat. But it's got a big old crank that's just hitting itself in his little bat face. And his little bat arms are swatting it out. Like, you got, imagine the next day he's hanging out with other bats and he's just got that comically large. He's like, it looks like a blessing, but it's really a curse. I can't, I'm too tired to do anything with it. And I don't have the cardiovascular system to maintain an erection. If I get a boner, I'll die. So I just gotta fly around thinking unsexy thoughts. Just praying that I can see another day, which is ironic because I'm blind, because I'm a bat. I'm trying to echolocate another day. Which is weird because time's a concept and that doesn't work with the sonar. That even seems like a country fried phrase that should have been out already in the world. You're like, oh, you look exhausted. I'm more tired than a big dick bat, I'll tell you that much. Like, that rolls off the tongue. I don't think I invented that. That comes out too easy. That, like... I feel like I saw that needle pointed at Cracker Barrel or something. Like somebody snuck that in amongst all the wholesome stuff. I think I read that in a Farmer's Almanac. I was like, that's old prospector lingo. Some guy coming down from the mountain with pots and pans tied to his overalls. Damn it, did you find anything? No, and I'm more tired than a big dick bat for looking. When everything goes away and we're all dust, if that phrase remains in the lexicon, I will consider my life a success. So if you take nothing else from this show or anything tonight, but you remember that phrase, use it. Not sparingly, use it generously. Use it Monday morning. When you're at work, go out Sunday night hard, just so you have an excuse to use that sincerely. Your boss is like, what'd you get into? I don't know, man. I'm more tired than a big dick bat, I'll tell you that. And they'll just say, what does that mean? You'll be like, I don't even remember, really. But it sounds right. Fuck. First off, I realized when I moved back to the suburbs, I came in with the wrong energy because I came in with city energy. I was living in Los Angeles for just about 17 years. And if you, like, city energy, as you may know, like, you just get real used to things that you shouldn't be getting used to. Like, you shouldn't be casual about some of the stuff that's happening. But you do, because you're in a city and that volume just slowly gets turned up, you know, just frog into boiling water until you're just coming in just real loose saying shit like, man, that guy with the sword is out in front of 7-Eleven again. He's always saying something wild like, and I'll do it again. I don't doubt you will, my man. I'm sorry, sir. I figured it out. It takes him about 9 seconds to go from the red box machine to the propane refill tank. So if you time it out just right, you can get in and out while I'm seeing you. Makes that Slurpee taste that much sweeter, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a little sugary trophy for you for living. Watch out, though. If he nicks you, you're going to have to get a tetanus shot. That's never any fun. So that's the energy I moved back with. Like, I just came in hot because I knew, because we moved there like end of September, right? And that's when I got into town. I'm like, this is how I'm winning over this neighborhood. I'm gonna move into the suburbs. This is how I'm gonna win over the neighborhood. I'm gonna be full-size candy bars guy on Halloween. That's how I'm gonna be. Everybody loved full-size candy bar guy. As a kid, you're like, that guy rules. Don't egg his house. This guy rules. Everybody loves full-size candy bar guy, and that's how I was gonna start it that first Halloween. I'm gonna be full-size candy bar dude. Here's the thing I did not realize, because I was coming in with hot city energy, is that in the suburbs, when you just show up in the beginning of a pandemic with out-of-state plates and then just try to be full-size candy bar guy without having children of your own, it has the inverse effect. I'm just sitting out on my porch under the one light that was working because I didn't get around to fixing the rest of them, just waving king-size Snickers going, how can I tell if you're Spider-Man unless you come closer? Just waving children in like I worked the ramp at the airport. Like, Hulk wouldn't be scared. So that didn't help with ingratiating myself into the suburbs. Yeah, that was like strike one, really, for moving out there. And it was like a lot of new families that were out there too, and we just moved in. Like I said, out of state plate, no kids, and people just eyeballing like, how dare you be here without children? Where are your children? Where are they? Why don't you have them? What's wrong? Is it you? Is it her womb? Like, Jesus Christ, I just spend my time trying to learn ZZ Top songs on guitar. Fuck off. You got legs, you know how to use them. Fuck off. Do not reward mediocre comedy. Do not. They were just mad dog us because there's so many just new moms out there like baby stroller Sturgis just pushing them down the street. And so yeah, that didn't help. None of it helped. None of what we did helped. And the reason we moved there, we moved to a suburb of Portland, Oregon. That's where we moved to. But the reason was, there was a house that opened up. It was in my girlfriend's family. This house had opened up, and they asked us, it's the beginning of pandemic. Things are crazy. Do you want to move up here and pay 1/3 of what you're paying in rent for a whole house with a lawn? Like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Seems a good choice. And it was weird, not just with the neighbor, just internally. Because I knew that this house is in my girlfriend's family, and we moved up, and we're excited. Main bedroom, we're gonna have a main bedroom, and we're gonna each get our own little bedroom to be an office. We're gonna get our own office, that's great. But right when we got up there, my girlfriend started corralling me towards one particular room of the house to be my office. She's like, what about this room, Kyle? Don't you like this room to be your office? This is a good office for you. I think you would get work done. You look cute in here, I'll tell you right now. You look cute in this room. And I was buying, I'm like, yeah, you know what, yeah. I feel cute in here. I feel cute in this room. And I think this would be a good office. And then I was like, ooh, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Is this the room that your mom died in? And it was. So, I understand. I wish you were just honest about that from the first part. We've been together for a long time. I would have understood if she's like, hey, I don't want to hang out in this room. My mom passed away in here. I'm like, that makes total sense. She didn't have to resort to this trickery. But now that's my room, that's my office. That's where I do my work. Let's just get to the point, all right? Masturbating in your mid-40s already has a level of shame to it. Just added tax right away. Why am I doing this? If I see a reflection of myself, I'll call the cops on me. I am not happy about it. Now, take that and add apologizing to the ghost of your mother-in-law after each and every time. And let me know what that does to your upstairs. Let me know how you recover from that. Oh, global pandemic, world might be ending. Well, how about a momentary serotonin rush? Here we go. Get it. That should be fine. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This must seem very disrespectful. So that was rough for me. On a personal level. So yeah, a lot of things were going screwy up there. We wound up. We got a cat. We didn't get a cat. The house came with a cat. We were just there. There's a cat. Yeah, it was out. We weren't even sure the cat was real at first because it was fucked up looking. It looked. There was some real Pet Cemetery action. Covered. Scrub brush and just missing some ear. Had like David Bowie eyes, you know. What are you looking at? Everything? Nothing? What's going on with you? It always just appear from around structures at first. There's always one of these. It took us about 6 weeks before we admitted to each other that we saw a cat. I remember she said at first, like, you see a cat out there? I'm like, you see it too? All right, thank God. I was getting nervous. I thought we had hobgoblins. I don't know. I'm new to the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what's going out there. Everything's just fog and ferns. I don't know what's crambling around underneath there. So the cat seemed like it was like friendly. It wasn't like friendly, but it was like hanging around us enough. And so we're like, well, maybe it belongs to somebody. So we should find out before we start messing with it or feeding it. So we took some pictures of it and we went door to door to see if it belonged to anybody. Also, probably a short-sighted idea on our part. It's, pandemic, global, social distance. Hey, here's the new childless out-of-state people going door to door like, is this your cat? And people are like, get the fuck away from my family. Yeah, you're right, yeah. The old guy next door answered the door, but the chain's still on the door. He was just like, oh, that cat? That's nobody's cat, no. That cat there, that cat belonged to the earth. Yeah. That cat come up from the soil when the sun go down. And just roams amongst the mist, just eating dreams and shitting out nightmares. That's what that guy... Man, just say it's not your cat, old man, all right? I don't have time for folklore. I got other neighbors to harass. Now, we found out from another neighbor that cat had actually been like a neighborhood stray cat for about 16 years. That's how far back they can remember. This is a stray cat that for 16 years has just been living on the streets of this neighborhood, working off the goodwill of the place. So we're like, this is our cat. Fuck it. We're taking this cat in. So we got the cat to come inside. This is our cat. We named it as much as you can name a cat, let alone one that's been doing its own thing for 16 years. It's mostly just for reference between us, So at first we were calling it Helen. We thought it was blind and deaf, so we were calling it Helen. You know what? I didn't name it that. My girlfriend named it that. So you're not mad at me. You're mad at her. And yeah, I will throw her under the bus, making me beat off at her dead mom's room. Yeah. All's fair, babe. She was calling it Helen. I was calling it Dirt Nap. That's how I was calling the cat. On account that it sleep all the time and was filthy, but also it looked deceased more often than not. That cat looked like it had perished many times. Like, oh, cats sleep weird, but like draped over a curb, under a car tire, just with its eyes open, looking at nothing. I walked up to it with a shovel more than once. It was like, well, this is a sad day, and it would just run off. I'm like, oh, look at you. Look at you little crisis actor. You got an agenda, and I don't know what it is, and that's what I like about you. You're mysterious. Little cross-eyed ghoul. So yeah, Dirt Nap, Little Dirty, Little D. We'll be calling her Little D for the rest of the story. Also be referring to her as she and a her. We thought it was a female cat. Turned out it was a neutered male, but we didn't find that out until later. So Jenny Nooch for gender neutral is the name for some of the time. And then for special occasions, we call her Miss America. And by special occasions, just when you could say something truthful that it's more funny when you could be like, man, Miss America shit on the couch again. And if you can time that out right for when like a new mom is walking by an open window, they're already against us, so maybe as well just feed them. What are they doing to that future beauty queen in there? We got this cat, and we brought it in. We're like, we're going to give this thing the best sunset years we can give it. We're going to pamper it. First, we took it to the vet, make sure it's all dialed in. We took it to the vet. And right away, the vet was just like, oh, it's got a thyroid issue. It's thyroid. It's got bad thyroid. It's got to be on a special diet, very special. It's a prescription diet. There's prescription cat food out there. Why? Who's trying to get the cat food that's not, okay, man, hook me up. Hook me up with that Hill's prescription, man. Like 5 cats in a trench coat rolling in, like... Hello, we're here to pick up for Mr. Meowser. Trying to make that cat meth, dog. Come on, man, come on. This is a prescription. You can only get it from me. It's $70 a bag. I'm like, all right, you know what, man? Whew, I know it was middle pandemic, and I was all about the doctors and the scientists, but the veterinarians, I just think some of them, they know they got that giant gray area of your lack of knowledge that they can abuse about the animal camp. Like if you go to a doctor and you're like, my ankle hurts, and they're like, could be an ear infection. You're like, well, you're bad at your job. But you go to a veterinarian with this animal that you love but can't communicate with, and you're like, oh, what's wrong with my best friend, my little guy here? They can just say anything like, it's the alternator. And you're just like, yeah, I get it. You know what? That makes sense because his eyes were dimming in the morning. His eyes were dimming. That's a 2003 Calico with a lot of miles. Those are city miles. I thought the timing belt was going to go first, but okay, yeah. That makes sense. What are we running on those, huh? 1,500. No, okay. That's with labor? All right, yeah. Hey, listen, real quick on the side. Say we do this in cash. You got like a similar model out back that like you can part out or ethical reasons. Sure, no, say no more. No, nobody's Frankenstein here. Nobody's Frankenstein. So you just gotta believe him, you know? So I come home with a $70 bag of bullshit one day. I open the door, I can see out to the patio. Lil D's outside, she's playing with a bird. Bird's dead. She's just slapping it against the house. Playing's also a real generous term to describe. She was playing the same way like inmates play handball. It's not for fun, you know? That's just maintenance in case shit goes down. That's all. The only thing missing from Little D at that point was like a cigarette behind her good ear and a teardrop tattoo. Just bitching about not making parole. Like, they got me doing the full 12, man. Ooh, if I get out of here and see that judge, you're gonna see me right back in here. And I could tell it was a fresh kill, because she was about 6 feet out and getting a good return on it. So I come in with this food, I'm just shaking it like, Lil D, I'm gonna save your life, look at this. And she looks up, because she can hear. It's selective, but she can hear. And she looks up, she knows it's food. She looks at the food, and then she looks at me and just puts it together. She's like, oh, you're gonna want me to eat that. Watch this. And then she just ate the bird. Like at me, like maintained eye contact, but ate the bird. And I know cats eat birds, but I was not ready. Like, I assumed it was gonna be messy, but with strategy. That's what I thought. Like, it's a whole bird. I thought it was gonna be like brutal, but you know, with technique, getting to the soft part. Like the same way, like we've all had that night where we get bong rip stoned, just get a rotisserie chicken just for yourself. Those nights you get home, like, close the blinds, I'm going elbows deep on this bitch. Like those kind of nights. That's what I thought I would have seen. What I saw and was not prepared for was the full-on David Blaine street magic disappearing act that she did on this bird. Just gone. Entire thing disappeared. One Forrest Gump feather just floating down for effect. Still looking at me like, what? Where did it go? Is it in my pocket? Oh my God. Is it just gonna be alive over here? That is, what you did is something I gotta call this vet back. And I rang him up right then and there like, yeah, hey doc, I don't know if you got a plan B for this whole thyroid thing, but Lil D been out in these streets just consuming her own enemies for the better part of a decade and a half. So if you got some alternatives, I'm all ears right now. And that's when the vet on the phone, he's like, oh, chicken baby food's totally acceptable for a thyroid issue, too. You can feed her chicken baby food. Oh, chicken baby food. Oh, the shit that's 50 cents a jar? You could have led with that, you fucking quack. So That's my life now when I'm not on the road. I'm just buying racks of chicken baby food. I'm just buying full, just cases of chicken baby food. And every morning that I'm at home, I gotta wake up and I gotta heat up a little jar of chicken baby food. Because now that we're an indoor cat, we got particular about temperature. So I gotta heat up this little jar of chicken baby food. And I throw up through my nose a little bit, just And we feed this to our human babies. You women are savages. I do that, and then I go, and then I clean out the litter pan, because these are the things you have to do when you let vermin live in your house. I go, and to get through the litter pan part, I just squat over it and pretend that I'm just an optimistic prospector, and this is my lucky day, because it's the only way to get through sifting through that, is to sit there and be like, oh, I got a good feeling, that's a big one. That one's pure gold. Me and Ma don't have to live on the front. That's a poop, okay, all right. Oh, look at this one coming downstream. Woo, boy, I'd take that to the bank. I'll buy the bank with that. That's just a piss fritter. All right, well, third time's a charm. I'll take silver at this point. Anything to get me out of the dusty old wet. That's a poop, too. I think this creek done run dry. That's just a fun thing to do for me, because you got to be creative with your chores. At the end of the weekend, everybody left. And, after we all just sat there frying out, sinking in the sand, everybody left. I was the last one to leave, and my van did the same thing. It sank into the sand. Who would have thought big old heavy van and loose sand wouldn't agree with each other? But I was the last one to go, so I'm just there by myself. Like, I'm spinning the tires, and I'm throwing debris under the tires, trying to get traction. I wish I was the guy that knew those kind of things. Just, we're just gonna leverage. You could put some weight on this opposite angle, and then the rear differential, that's actually gonna go counterclockwise unless you grab traction. I'm not that guy. I had to look up on the internet what to say for that part of the bit. The guy I was like, they're going, but they're not going. It's around, but not forward. I'm just a guy who just is sweaty holding his phone, like, Usually there's a lot of answers in this. And I did. I looked at my phone. Had fantastic service out there. Go figure. Verizon. Hey, what are you, in the middle of nowhere? Full bars. Hey, you in an actual city where you live and conduct business? Why don't you suck our dicks? So it's an odd choice for them to do that way. But I had full bar. I'm like, all right. I called AAA. I don't know. I've been paying them shits for years. I think, and I don't call them for the little things. Flat tire, do it myself. Ran out of gas, do it myself. I think I can call the big favor on them. So I'm like, all right, now AAA. And they're like, where are you located? I'm like, it's out there. Because we weren't even in the part of the national park where there were still rangers. We were just out in the mafia burial ground. So I was just like, there's not a lot of numbers out here, unless you want to count cow skulls. I'll drop a pin and we'll see if that works. And to their credit, dropped a pin within an hour. I saw a little white AAA van just bopping along the dirt road that I came in on. Just come to bring, and I could see, because there's a van, so it's a big windshield. I could see from a distance the guy behind the wheel was just like. His window is down. The first thing he said, he just goes, I can't do anything. And I was like, I know, but now you're here. And two heads better than one. And so he was pissed, but he's obligated. So then we were just hanging out. Two of us were just leaning on his van, looking at my van. Neither one of us having any answers. And finally, after a while, he just goes, I can call Garrett. He gave me no context To who Garrett? He just said it. Like that's how we're gonna do it. We'll call Garrett. Does Garrett work for AAA too? Maybe Garrett has an independent towing company. Maybe Garrett has a gun, and he's gonna come out and he's gonna put a bullet in my head, and you guys are gonna split whatever you get for selling my van, and you can tell me that plan now like a supervillain, because you know, like, oh, you're gonna die. Let me tell you exactly how. So. But I have no choice but to be optimistic, so I'm like, oh, Garrett? Yeah. Shit, I mean, I don't know him, but that's a strong name. That's a guy who gets something done. Garrett will get it done. I don't know what it is, but he'll do it. Garrett, yeah, and this guy wasn't having my shit. He goes, he's got a 350. And I'm like, oh, man, maybe you can get like a 400? I don't know. What are we talking? I don't know. If these numbers are important, can you get more of the numbers? He's also got a Cummins. I'm like, what's that? I hope that's a Goins. He wasn't into the truck humor. He wasn't feeling it. So he shuffled off, and he called Garrett. And within 20 minutes, this Mad Maxian cloud just appeared on the horizon, just tearing at us as if born of the setting sun. This was the phoenix that was Garrett. And he was coming right at us. Now, you know national parks are very precious about them, and as they should be. They're trying to preserve that shit. But you get there, and they're not screwing around. They're like, stay on the trail. Leave no trace. Pack in what you pack out. Don't look at any of the animals in the face. They can't know you're here. Actually, we'd prefer it if you left. That should be the slogan for national parks. Welcome to your national parks. We'd prefer it if you left. You're really only harming this beautiful place. Garrett was not adhering to those rules. Garrett was a firm believer in the concept that the quickest way between 2 points was a straight line. So he was driving as the crow flies. Save for a couple swerves into the namesake shrubs. There was a couple deliberate moves where Garrett was driving like somebody named Joshua had just fucked his mother. And he was taking it out on your tax-funded public land. There's a couple hard jerks of the wheel where you can tell he's like, just because your dick's in her doesn't mean I'm calling you dad. So that's what was tearing at us. And I could see it was a truck. Of course, truck. Give me a truck. I want a truck. Taller than that. Taller. Give me another one. Put it on top of that one. Tall. Now wide. Make it a dually. Thick. I want a thick truck. I want a truck with sexy hips. I want a juicy, curvy truck. I love my curvy truck. Give me a thick, tall, leggy, curvy truck with a big ass, a breedable ass. Big, wide, breedable ass. Something I can hang on to when we slow dance. Give me a big, thick, curvy, but nuts. Put nuts on it. Make sure there's nuts. Dangle some nuts. Dangle some little nuts off that fuckable ass. Thick truck, thick, curvy truck with nuts. Yeah, she'll do. She'll do. I got her parked around back. She'll tow it. Don't tell me you don't understand pronouns at that point when you got a big curvy truck with nuts that you call she and her. How can one thing be a they? Look at your truck, dude. You white trashed yourself into being progressive. You didn't even know it. And it was tall, and I get lift kits. I understand that there's some utility to having a lift kit, especially out there. You need ground clearance. But you know that some of these dudes that are getting lift kits, like they are just using altitude to hide from alimony payments. You can tell that some of those guys have, you're probably here now. You know what you did. You concocted your own legal loophole where you can't serve me papers if you can't reach me, dude. That's the law. That's just the law. That's the law. Just laying flat in the cab whenever baby mamas come around looking for money. Fuck, she's still out there, dude? Fuck. What money, Charisse? Look at this exhaust system. I don't have any money. So that's what's coming at me. As it gets close, I can see that there's graphics on the truck. He's got graphics. And it's like a graphics, like a wrap. And it's the front of it, that's all I can see so far. It's skulls. Skulls. Yeah, skulls. I get it, skulls. They're unicorns for dudes. Skulls. Now I can see the side. I see that the skull wrap that gives away. It didn't like fade to the next day. It was like clawed away. It was like the bald eagle came and like, you experience the justice. And then because then the back half was just, it was all text. It was all like script, whatever font the Constitution's written in. I don't know what it's called, Patriot Sans or whatever, but that was all over the curvy hips of the truck. And I'm like right away I'm assuming probably 2A, probably Second Amendment. That's the kind of thing you see on this truck. Never really championing the First Amendment. You never see a bumper sticker on a truck like that that's just like, sing your truth. It's never that. It's usually some sort of come and take it type situation. So I'm reading it, but as I'm reading it, I don't see anything about right to bear arms or, defend. I just see shall prevent against illegal search and seizure and personal property and all that stuff. I'm like, that's the Fourth Amendment. My man Garrett has his truck wrapped in the Fourth Amendment. And that's when I realized something very specific had happened to Garrett. You don't just cherry pick. You're not just like, I'm an American, pick one, I don't care, wrap it up, dude. Something went wrong with Garrett for him to be like Fourth Amendment. So that he got busted selling reptile eggs on the dark web. But he found a flaw in the warrant and decided that he could defend himself in court. That's the best I could come up with. He just showed up and just, said shit. Like, well, respectfully, Your Honor, okay, the warrant is looking for Bolivian salamanders. And if I could point you to Exhibit A, the evidentiary photographs, and you do not see any Bolivian salamander eggs here, do you? I'm not to the untrained eye, but I can tell you that these are Honduran geckos. Now that is a similar spotting for any people out there that's a similar spotting, but these are legal, and I believe the 13 to 18 of the lower the states that are stuck together. As long as I fill out the proper paperwork at the post office. Ergo, Your Honor, respectfully, this whole thing should be thrown out. Ergo. Respectfully. And you could tell she had just had enough. She's like, that's the third time this week, Garrett. No, God damn it. $75 fine. And that's what just sent him over the edge. Like, not in my America. Hell no. You do not tread on me. I will not be treadeth upon. You're treading on me. I don't want to be treaded on. Just fucking wrap the truck. Fourth Amendment. I'm not putting up with this shit no more. Fucking, you do not tread on me. Nobody tread. By the way, I do have the rattlesnake eggs from the Don't Tread on Me flag, but hit me up on my Hotmail because the feds are monitoring my Yahoo account, all right? I'm still just making up the story. I've not met Garrett yet. First impression I have of Garrett were his feet. I saw his feet because I was on the passenger side. I was eye level with the step rail. First thing I saw of Garrett was underneath. I couldn't see into the truck. I could see underneath the truck. I saw two little dangling slip-on Vans tennis shoes. That's what I saw. Just out there, just looking for the ground. Just, And for all the details, I do not remember the size of Garrett. I don't remember because all I know is that if you have to exit your vehicle like you're leaving a treehouse, you're going to look like a little fella. You're going to look tinier than you really are. But I kind of liked him right away because he had to take that leap of faith to get out of there. And he did it. Even without seeing him, I could see it was a good attitude because the way he came down with a real ha-ha, here's Garrett. Like a real ginger outlook on him. I liked it. So he came around the front. And this is the first time now I'm seeing Garrett in his full form. And he had this look. You probably know this look out here. It's very much a West Coast kind of look. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like LA gangster, but then it's also like white trash kind of dude. But like but like suicidal tendencies meets Supercross kind of look. Like, you know, it's like it's the tall socks and the long shorts, but then it's a Monster Energy shirt or some sort of energy drink. And then, but like the kind of guy that you could tell, even if he only spent one night in jail for a DUI, still like saying like, back when I was incarcerated, like they love something about the hard C and incarcerated. Oh man, when I was incarcerated, like you were there for 12 hours. And then the face is always too young for that. And I'm still scared of that look. Whatever age, I don't care, because even if you're not tough, you're still crazy. You still have like a sleeve tattoos and you do weird flips on motorcycles. I'm not gonna fight you. You know you have butterfly knives that you're clumsy with, but we'll still take them out. Fucking what, bro? What? Flurry of chrome, dude. Flurry of chrome. And then the neck up, it's always too young of a face. It's a goatee, but you could tell it's a goatee that they dream that it was bigger. You could tell they asked Jesus for it. They're like, at night, just please. Doink. Oh, thank you. And the part that throws me off the most is that there's always a flat brim ball hat that's way too big. It always looks like a Peanuts character. And then they tuck their ears into the side. Do you guys know this look I'm talking about? All right, the ear thing throws me off the most. Because the rest of it, like, all right, kind of a gnarly, you know, desert tweaker, mountain weirdo, I get it. But then the ears and the hat thing is always like, now that's like real Rudy vibes that undermine the whole toughness of the rest of it. Because it's like kind of tough, tough. And then up here, it's just like, Coach says, once I grow into the uniform, I'm going to be a real scrapper. And that's so confusing. Either way, that's who stood before me. This was Garrett. And he didn't waste any time. He goes, that's your van? I'm like, yeah. He's like, fucking sick. And went, he just had chains, got right back into his truck, got in, rolled some coal, pulled me right back onto the dirt road. Yeah. And that was it. That happened that fast. And I was like, oh shit, this is great. I'm saved. What I realized then is that we had not discussed payment yet. Yeah, we didn't go over that part. Now I'm in the desert and I owe a stranger a favor. And it's not often that later in life you get to have a new kind of fear. But I was like, uh-oh, we didn't talk about money. I don't have cash and I don't have grass. I guess what I have right now is a very open mind. But I did have credit cards. Garrett said, he's like, $200. I was like, oh, do you take credit cards? He goes, I'll take your credit cards. I meant as payment, not as just strong arm robbery. He's like, no, I got a square for my phone to swipe. I'm like, of course you do. It's great service out here, of course. Full bars, yeah, okay. But he's like, $200. I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be $200. Just tell me what you're gonna buy when you steal my credit card information. I'll get it for you. I don't wanna reset PIN numbers. Just put together an Amazon wish list like a porn star. I owe you. Let me hook you up. That was it. It was $200. There's no discrepancies on my credit card statements, and he got me out of there. And that's the end of that story, and it should be a good end. It is a good end, in theory. Well, the reason it's not a good end is because now I can't judge dudes like Garrett anymore. And that sucks. At 45, you want to be like, I'm set in my ways. I got things figured out. Now all of a sudden, I can't judge a book by its cover anymore. And that's a drag. That's my safe place in this world. That's where I feel comfortable, is walking around thinking I got everybody figured out, and so fuck them. That's how I feel good. Look at you. You dress like an asshole. I bet your kids don't love you. Oof, you got a girl pregnant in high school. Thank God I'm better than everybody around me. But no, now Garrett has to come along and flip the script on me, and now I gotta sit behind those trucks on the highway and think, like, instead of wanting to see him flip over and burst into flames, I'm like, you might be saving an asshole like me from dying in the middle of nowhere. Godspeed, Garrett. I don't know what to tell you. And it's weird because I think the world wants me to learn this lesson. It's a bad character trait to be judgmental like that. And I know that. I'm still that way. Garrett, that was part one of the lesson. I think part two is the fact that at 45, I don't know if it's age or if it's different medications that I'm on now because of my various ailments, I always have some pee in my pants. That's just as sure as rain's wet, I'll tell you. Not enough to go to the doctor, but enough to keep me humble, so I leave it there. I leave it there because I want to be a better person. It's like just a $50 worth at all times. I don't want it there. I shake twice, and then I strangle it a little bit, like it owes me money. Like, we're not going to do the drip again. Nah, boss man, nah. And as soon as I put it back in my pants, complete betrayal. Just a 3-lick little cat bath right in the front of my underpants. Like, meow, meow, meow. Just right there on the front. Like, yes. Cold tip, permanent cold tip. So between Garrett and that, I think the universe is trying to keep me in line, because I'll revert to that kind of way where I'm like, look at this asshole over here. Oh, I bet you got a girl knocked up in high school and then you never talked to her again. And then some part of my brain's like, you think he's got some pee in his pants right now? Like, you know what? Probably not. I don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about me. Let's just get on in this world and be okay with each other.